So, so this is a recruiting call, guys. This is exciting. So we're going to talk about personal recruiting and getting spotlights sent out to your personal recruits and the field recruits, what that looks like. So I'm gonna list off some names, and I want you to think about what all these people have in common. So all these people that I'm about to mention were personal recruits of our agency, and just Schneider agencies. So I know Van's got a lot of personal recruits as well. So with just our agency, guys, we have, sorry, somebody needs to mute their line. There's some background noise going on, but we have Rylan Lovejoy, Avery Lucas, Amber Rain, Doug Conrad, Brandy Graham, Eric Schneider, myself, Kyle Schneider, I was a personal recruit, Carol Cash, Matt Schwartz, Ryan Bunkley, Tyler Wozniak, Chris Newman. All those people were personal recruits. So they would not be here. They were not hired from Indeed. They were not hired from ZipRecruiter. They were hired because they're friends of friends. You know, they were friends of us, or we met them out in the field when we're protecting families. And there may be a couple other people that I may have missed over, but all those people were not hired from a mass source. I know in Davenport agencies, they got a lot. You know, Brian Glazinski, you know, we hired him, you know, almost 7 years ago. Todd Stiles, Zach Tolbert, and there's a lot more people as well. And we got some new players who we have Darius Ramsey, who's taking the state exam today, that I personally recruited a couple weeks ago. We have Chris Schwartz, who's the brother of Matt Schwartz, who will be starting with us here in about a week and a half. And we have two girls who Mindy just hired last week who will be starting with us soon, guys. So, guys, it's not negotiable. Everybody's doing this. So it's fun. It's so much more exciting when you work with people that are close to you. You know, whether it's your brother, your sister, it could be your best friend. It could be the coolest person that you worked with at your prior career. So when you think about recruiting, just having the right mindset is the first part. Just be grateful for the opportunity that you have. And just almost thinking of it as like being a non-negotiable. Like, I'm going to get my closest, like Dylan Buck, his entire team, guys, is people that he knows. Like, his entire team are people that he used to work with, or just friends that he went to college with, people he used to snowboard with, all the above, right? So it's just he literally worked with his best friends. We have that opportunity here, okay? And you don't have to recruit anybody at all. You really don't, but you get to. Most careers, if you work at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, State Employees Credit Union, you're going to sit in an office all day long, and they will put you in a cubicle, and you do not decide who they put in the cubicle right beside you. The corporate decides that, okay? So you may not like the person right next door to you, right? But here it's the exact opposite. You get to decide. So really, you got to have the abundance mindset, because there are so many more families that need protection than you personally can protect. So just think about, you know, the size of the area that you're working, and Google how many people live in that area, and look how many contacts you've had, and seeing the amount of contacts you've had for the amount of population in that area. I bet it's probably like 1%. Like, you have seen probably 1% of the population, if that. So there's an overabundance. There are way more people that live out here than we have agents to go see them. So we are in high demand, especially with right now with the pandemic going on. We need more of us now more than ever. Okay, we have people every single week using our policies. Van's customer was just, you know, paid $60,000 to Josiah was saying a boxer. One of my customers just a few days ago from Fair Bluff, North Carolina, sold him. It was the third Traymore when I first started. We just deposited $17,100 to this gentleman. He was the biggest power name I had in Fair Bluff, North Carolina. Wherever I was going door to door back in the day when I first started here, he was the biggest power name I was using, and he was like one of my friends. So it's just, you just never know. We need more people doing what we do. So I'm going to kind of cover some technical content of how to find those people and how to send them spotlights. So just write down, these are the three things that we look for in somebody. So you make sure you're taking notes. These are the three things that we look for when we're looking for a sharp person. Number one, we look for somebody who's really good with people. We look for somebody who's really good with people, okay? You've got to be really good with people to do well here. Number two, we look for somebody who's upbeat, for an upbeat person. Somebody just got a good, enthusiastic, great personality. Number three, we look for somebody who's confident. That's extremely important. This is not an easy career. You got to be confident. to be successful. Those are the three things. That's that simple. We don't care about their experience. That really means nothing. As you guys can tell, is most of our good news came from people that did not do sales before this. Okay. And here's the kind of other characteristics that people need to have is drive. When people ask you what it takes to do well here, because when you're recruiting people, they'll ask you, well, what does it take to do well here? These are three things that I always say. Yep, you got to be driven. Somebody who works hard every single day. It's hard to find that nowadays, right? But you got to be driven, especially in our business. Okay, number two, you got to be teachable and coachable, and you got to be a student of the game, somebody who wants to get better. And number three, you got to have an ownership mindset. So literally, when prospects on the field ask me, well, what does it take to do well? Oh, yep, these three things. Got to be driven, got to be teachable and coachable, be a student of the game. Number three, you got to have an ownership mindset and know that you're worth more than you're making right now, and that you know that there's sacrifice in order to be successful. You know that anything that's worth having, there's a price tag you got to pay for it. There's a price tag for it. Okay, so those are the things that we look for and what it takes to do well here. And most people that we've been recruiting, personal recruiting, are people that we already know. I know Avery hired Doug Conrad recently, and they used to work together, right? Mindy Dillon, we had two ladies that we hired last week. They used to work with Mindy. I hired my brother, and there's a lot of people. Matt Schwartz is Brad Phillips' neighbor, and then Matt does really well. And then we hired Chris Schwartz, who's Matt's brother, who's a nurse and is switching over to us, right? So guys, there's so different situations. So I want you to think really quick. You can field recruit people out in the field, but you can also personally recruit people that you know. So just think of 5 people that if you had 5 tickets to the Super Bowl, you would want these 5 people to go with you. So just think of 5 people. Who was the best man in your wedding, right? Who is, if you had a cookout tomorrow, let's say you had a cookout this weekend, who are the first 5 people you're going to text to send over to your cookout? Right? If you want to be in Mexico, we're going to go to Mexico next week, actually, for a lot of us. But at the end of the year, we're going to go back to those areas, to Mexico. Who do you want to bring with you in Mexico? Who do you want to be drinking a Corona with on the beach in Mexico at the end of the year, right? Who are those best friends, right? So the good news is talking to those people is extremely important. So, and if you're having trouble thinking of those people, are they confident? Are they upbeat? And are they good with people? Because that's really what's important. Confident, upbeat, are they good with people? Okay. And when we're working out in the field, here are some other characteristics to look for. People who are really good at what they do. So when you're in a business, you look for people who are really good at what they do. They're just really good at it. And people who love what they do. You may be thinking, why would we want to recruit somebody who loves what they do? Because they're optimistic. If you recruit somebody who hates what they do, well, guess what? If we hire them, they may hate what we do as well. So they're pessimistic. We want to hire optimistic people who love what they do. Because if they love what they do, but man, if you love what you're doing there, you're going to love this even more, right? Because our opportunity is greater than pretty much every opportunity out there. Okay. And also, great people to recruit are people that when you meet them, you just get that vibe in your gut that they would do well at this. Like you meet them and you're sitting across from them, you're giving them a presentation. You're like, man, like this person would do very well at this. Like, I think this person could even do maybe even better than I could do, Like when you get that feeling in your stomach, when you kind of are intimidated to talk to them about it, those are great people. And you may even be at Harris Teeter. You literally may be in a shopping cart and it may be a sharp person who's in the line behind you, or you may be at the YMCA working out and you're like, man, I see this guy in here every day and he just seems super sharp. I think he would be a shark here. He would dominate, This guy would absolutely crush what we do. Those kind of people are also great people to personally recruit. So let's shift gears. We're going to talk about how to approach these kind of people. Okay, so what do you actually say? So I'm going to give you guys some good one-liners to what to say, what not to say. Okay, because the goal of the approach is just to get them open-minded. Just like when you walk into a business, the whole reason you walk into a business is not to sell insurance. It's actually just to get them to sit down with you. That's it. to get them open-minded for a few minutes. Like, hey, it only takes literally a few minutes, 5 minutes, right here, okay? Boom. You got a place where you can sit down? Boom. Well, guess what? When you're recruiting, it's the exact same thing. But when we recruit people, the goal is not to, right then and there to get them to get hired, because you're not going to hire them right there. There's a lot of steps that we go through before we ever hire. Like, we only hire 1 or 2 people every 30 people that I actually interview. So I will interview roughly 30 people before 1 or 2 selected. So there's a lot of steps that you have to go through. So be confident in that. So the approach is just getting them open-minded to watching a career spotlight or to talking to your manager. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what not to say when you're recruiting people, but what not to talk about. When you first approach somebody, whether it's at the gym, it's your buddy, it's your brother, it's somebody out in the field, do not talk to them. Don't puke on them. Don't talk to them about all the details about what we do. Don't talk to them about, every little detail that we do. Don't talk to them about commission, how we get paid. That's not your job to do that. That's my job. That's what I'm trained of how to hire people. Van is we're trained the same way. That is not your job to talk about those kind of details. We get paid several different ways here, and people will ask you how you get paid. Like, that's a great question for my manager, Kyle. That's a great question for my leader, Van Davenport, or Brad Phillips. Okay. And the video I'm going to show you will explain how that works very in-depthly. Okay. Also, don't talk about cold calling when you very first start talking to people. Okay. Don't talk about how we prospect our clients at first, because our products are for everybody, and it's very unique what we do. What we do is extremely unique, and it's very custom tailored for each individual. So let us talk about prospecting. Let us talk about commission, how people get paid. And the video kind of explains that anyways, but you don't need to talk about all those details. Just like when you walk into a business, the first thing you do, you never talk about return of premium cancer insurance. You never talk to them, it pays $800 every day in the hospital for cancer. It gives you $6,000 up front. You never say that. You would never sell cancer insurance if you did that. So the same thing in recruiting. There's a cycle of the sale with recruiting, and there's the approach, there's the introduction, and then there's a demonstration. Well, don't go straight to the demonstration. Just start off with the approach, okay? So I'm going to give you guys what to actually say whenever you are in front of somebody, and it's extremely basic. So here's a couple one-liners that you should write down. So if you're thinking, what do I say whenever I see a sharp person? Whether in a business or in the gym, whatever that is, here's 4 one-liners. So you can use any of these. Any of these work. If you have another one, feel free to use it. But here's a great opening line to say to a sharp person. Hey man, do you see yourself working here forever? that is my go-to line. Hey man, do you see yourself working here forever? I'm kind of nodding my head no, because I pretty much know that they're going to say no. Do you see yourself retiring from here? That's number 2. Do you see yourself retiring from here? Number 3, have you ever thought about being in sales? Have you ever thought about being in sales? That's for the really sharp people that just are intimidated, that like, why are you not in sales? Right? Have you ever thought about being in sales? Number 4 is this your forever career, or is this more of a temporary job for right now? Is this your forever career, Van, or is this more of a temporary job right now? So those are 4 really good one-liners just to get the conversation started. So just to get the conversation started, putting the seed in the brain that, we maybe talk to them a little bit more about what we do. So
hey,
right
Kyle,
after you say that, this is what you say.
Can you do number 2 real quick again?
Oh yeah, number 2 is, do you see yourself retiring from here? That's kind of similar to number 1. Do you see yourself retiring from here? There's different ways to say the same thing, pretty much. Most people say no to that. Do you see yourself working here till you're 62 and a half? No, I don't. Perfect. And then this is what you say right after that. This is such a simple line, guys. Such a very basic, fundamental line. Okay, cool. Well, my company, we're hiring. We're hiring sharp, driven people who want to grow and advance in their career. This may or may not be a fit for you, Van, but I think you would do well, as you have an upbeat personality and you make me laugh. would you be open to hearing more about what I do? I'm gonna repeat that. So, okay, cool. Well, my company is hiring sharp, driven people who want to grow and advance in their career. This may or may not be a fit for you, Van, but I think that you would do well here. You have an upbeat personality, and you can tailor this, guys. You can say, man, you have a great personality. You're very upbeat. You have a great smile. You know everybody. You're confident. Give them a compliment, whatever it is. You have a very upbeat personality, and you're funny. I think you would do well here. Would you be open to hearing more about what I do? That's the closing line. Just like, do you have a place to sit down in the approach? Well, our closing line in recruiting is, would you be open to hearing more about what I do? That's the closing for the approach. And they're either going to say, yeah. Most people will actually say, yeah. If you're recruiting the right person, they're like, yeah, they get excited. You just gave them a compliment. Okay. Let's say, again, I'm going to give you guys one other line. This is for somebody if you're recruiting somebody, but you may not be recruiting them. Let's say that they work at a business, you do a great presentation, but you don't think that they will be a good candidate, but they've lived in, let's say that you're in, say, Shelby, North Carolina. That's where I was selling yesterday. And let's say that you're there, you're sitting down with somebody, you don't think they're a good prospect, but they've been there forever, and they probably know a lot of people. So this is how you can recruit through them. So it's a little bit different approach, but it's how you recruit through that person so they can give you a name and number to somebody who is sharp. That's not them. Okay, so this is what you say. It's a very similar thing. So, hey, Van, we're looking for some big players, for some next leaders here in Shelby, North Carolina, that are hustlers who want to get paid what they're worth. And, this may or may not be a good fit for you personally, Van, but who do you know who is really good at what they do and who's really good with people? Who do you know who's really good with people? Who do you know that's really funny, that makes everybody laugh? Who do you know that's the most confident person? Who's the most confident person that you know? Who do you know that's the most, and these are just some memory joggers. Who do you know that's very successful at what they do? Who do you know who's the most competitive person that you grew up with? Who do you know that's very successful? Who do you know that wants to advance their career? Who do you know that wants to make more money? Well, Van, we're hiring right now, and I can't guarantee them a job, but I can definitely guarantee them an interview. Who do you know? And guys, if you ask enough people that, you will definitely get a lot of numbers. They would, oh yeah, like boom, my sister, she was a nurse trying to get out of it, boom, get their name and number, and be like, all right, cool. Let them know I'll be reaching out to them and talking to them about the opportunity. I can't guarantee them a job, but we will definitely guarantee them at least an interview. That's how you kind of close that out. Okay, so let's kind of go to the next step. So what do you say to somebody once you gave them their approach and they want to get more information? Like, yeah, like this sounds great, man. I definitely want to get more information about what you guys do. Well, what do you say then? Okay, so this is the introduction. We're not part of the demonstration yet. The demonstration is what me and Van with the Career Spotlight's for. You don't have to do the demonstration, but you can do an introduction. So this is what the introduction is in the recruiting world. Okay, this is what you should talk about. And here's a few basic things. Number one thing is when you start the introduction, just talk about what you were doing before this. Talk about yourself. What you personally were doing before you came here. Yep. I was just in college, or I was working for a beer delivery company out in Nashville, North Carolina for the last 3 years with Empire, whatever it was doing. Talk about what you're doing before this. Number two, talk about why you came here in the first place, why you decided to come here to Family Heritage in the first place. Yep, I came here because the growth opportunities, I was stuck where I was at. I was only making $35,000 a year, working 60 hours a week, and I had no time with my family. And here, man, I love the freedom and flexibility that I had. I love the fact that it was very competitive, and I determined what I got paid. I like the fact that we can go on some awesome trips. I've never been out of the country, and I like the fact that here, if you do well, you can go anywhere, right? Whatever it is, just kind of tailor that for why you personally came here. And then the next part, tell them what helped you do well here, why you're successful, what helped you be successful here. Yeah, and what helped me be successful, man, I just work really hard every single day. I stay on a great schedule. I work about 8 to 9 hours every single day, Monday through Friday. And I just see as many people and have a servant attitude. I just have a great attitude and try and get in front of as many people as I possibly can. And we have great leadership that also helped train me very well. I had great trainers that were out there with the field, helping me be successful, and we have a great culture, and we have great products. I just stay consistent on a good schedule, work 8 to 9 hours a day, and it's helped me do very well here. I'm making more money now than I've ever made, whatever it is. And then the last thing is kind of top that off is just talk about why you're excited for the future, what you're excited about for the future. And I'm so excited for the future because we're just getting started. Like, I'm going to have my own office here the next couple of years. We're expanding the Charlotte area like crazy, and we're definitely really trying to grow aggressively the Shelby, North Carolina area. We're looking for some key players here. I'm really excited about the future here for Shelby because there's so many people that need what we do. We just don't have enough sharp people to explain it to them, right? So I'm just excited about, because our agency is the fastest growing agency in the entire company right now. Like, literally, our Charlotte office is booming right now. So like, I'm just pumped about working for a great agency. Whatever it is, whatever thing that you're excited about, tell it to them, right? And that's it. And then that's your introduction. And then once you're like, oh, that sounds great, then here's the very last part, is getting them to watch a spotlight. So this is the very last part, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. How to get people to watch a career spotlight. Okay, so if you have a 5-star recruiter in front of you, if you are sitting in front of an absolute stud that you're like, oh my God, this person would probably even beat what I'm doing right now. Like, this person's better than me. What do I do? What do I say? You get really intimidated. That's okay. Tell them that your agency owner will reach out to them. That's when you want to get me or Van or your market director, Brad Phillips, to talk to them, which is totally okay. I'll invite them for coffee, whatever it is, right? So if that's for 5-star recruits, but most people probably aren't 5-star recruits, right? Those are, usually, more rare, but when you do come across those, definitely, you can still send them the spotlight, but definitely tell them that I'll be reaching out to them individually for those kind of candidates. But for most folks, you guys are good enough to set up your own spotlights. I know Avery, she gets like 2 to 5. I get like 2 to 5 questionnaires every single week from people that Avery meet out in the field. So this is how you set those up. This is how you can get spotlights back, so we can start interviewing some of the people that you meet the right way. Okay. So this is the verbiage that you say. So I'm going to go ahead and set you up, Van, for the first part of our interview process. It's called the Career Spotlight. It's a video that explains who we are, what we do, and what we're looking for. My leader, Kyle, is the one that runs that video, and you'll see some other people on our team that we work with around here. It's about 40 minutes long. Once you get done with it, if you want to be considered for the position, you'll fill out the application questionnaire. I'll repeat that. If you want to be considered for the position, you'll fill out the application questionnaire. So I'm going to email you the Career Spotlight. I'm also going to text it over to you as well. I'd rather you watch it on your computer, bigger screen. So what's your email? So boom, get their email address. Great. And this is a crucial part, committing them to a certain time. So great, Van, like, you can watch this video anytime, but it is time sensitive. So you can watch it anytime, today, tomorrow, or even right now, if you got, about 40 minutes right now. What time would work well for you? What time would work for you? Great. Today at 6 o'clock. Perfect. I'm gonna write that down, and whenever I send you the email, I'm gonna put it down for that time. I'm gonna go ahead and send it over, and just be sure to take some really good notes when you watch this, because there's so many good details discussed in the video. And remember to fill out the application questionnaire at the end and submit it. And then my boss, Kyle, will be reaching out to you to schedule a live interview once he gets your questionnaire in. Sound good? Yeah. So tonight, 6 o'clock. Awesome. You're gonna love it. You're gonna like him. He's a great guy. You're gonna love the video. Boom. That's it, guys. That's literally how you literally just get their email. And I emailed the Career Spotlight to him, and I know Van, he could probably forward you the email that he sends. And I'll if you're my agency, I'll forward you the email that I send to him. I also text it to them. That way they can have it on their phone and their email, because they can actually watch the Career Spotlight on their phone and fill the questionnaire on their phone as well. So we made that update about a year ago where people could start doing that. So
Hey, Kyle,
there's no reason why they shouldn't.
Would you share that email with me so I can share it with the Davenport agency? Because I think we do more texting, and that I think the 2-pronged approach is probably a even better one. Text in and email, give them that option. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, totally, guys, 100%. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much how simple it is. Just getting them to at least relatively commit to a certain time. And some people, like, you may run into this objection a little bit, like if they're like, oh, well, I don't know exactly. Well, can you definitely have it done by tonight at midnight? They're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So you're going to have access to this tonight. We just got to let them know that there's like a timestamp on there, essentially, because if you just say, yeah, you can watch it whenever, what happens is they never do it. They procrastinate. Just like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to go to the gym sometime this week. You're probably not going to go to the gym. But if you say, I'm going to go to the gym Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go to the gym at Monday at 10. This is the exact same mindset. Like, hey, you can do this. You can watch this career spotlight whenever. It is about 40 minutes long. But when can you definitely have it done by? Like, what time can you definitely commit to that you could definitely sit down and watch this awesome video? It's get your wife involved as well. Get her to watch it with you because she's going to like it too. Right. So getting that is important, and making sure, when you send the email, you kind of tailor it to that person. Like, hey, I had a great conversation with you, blah, blah, blah. Your career spotlight's there for today at, 9 o'clock at night, whatever it is. Right. So, that's how you send out career spotlights. So that's the approach. That's like kind of the introduction that you talk about. It's really that simple. And you're only going to get better with practice. So today, guys, today's Thursday, practice what you preach. So make sure, like, today matters. Like, you need to go out there and practice this today with a sharp person. I don't care if they work at Ingles, if they work at Food Lion, practice it, do at least 2 of these today. And I'll promise you, in about a week or so, it'll be like second nature. Like, you're really good at what you do. So, and it's fun, guys. Fun to work with really cool people. So we're growing really fast, and it's exciting to see. So that's pretty much it.
Hey, Kyle, can I make